The film opens up with a brief data about World War I where Serbia endured an overwhelming misfortune. It is referenced that more than 66% of its male populace died during the fight, and the ones who endure were left to get the pieces and begin new lives as best they could. Nonetheless, this too implied that numerous humble communities were left with not many or no men by any means. The scene then, at that point, movements to a little town named Pokapi, which is loaded up with wonderful ladies. There is just a solitary male agent all through the entire town, and that as well, he is exceptionally old. At some point, two sisters, Ognjenka and Boginja, are seen playing around the lake close to the graveyard. Ognjenka is the mindful kin, and she recommends that they head home and keep away from the reviled lake due to the legend that encompasses it. In any case, Boginja, being the light-hearted one, strolls towards the lake without a consideration in the world. As indicated by the legend, their extraordinary grandma cried by the lake for 7 days, furthermore, 7 evenings when her significant other didn't return from the conflict. Her tears made the lake so pungent that even ocean creatures begun living in it. Following 7 days of grieving, she committed to harden her heart like a stone and turned into the best mourner on the mountain. Mourners are ladies recruited to cry at memorial services, a practice that has been gone down through ages in this family, which the sisters are likewise a section of. In Pokapi, on the off chance that a kid is basically as tall as a rifle, he is viewed as prepared for war. Be that as it may, with not many men left in the town, what's more, with the pitiful number of passings these days, the privately owned company is gradually becoming useless. Following this, we are educated that just 2 men have at any point gotten back to Pokapi from the conflict, yet, unfortunately, both passed on before long. The first was squashed by a tombstone, and it is muddled whether his demise was unintentional or due to his better half's realize that he was unable to guard the town of ladies' resentment regarding his disloyalty. Furthermore, the second man, who without help from anyone else, set up a minefield in the great plantation. Nonetheless, he didn't stamp the places of the mines and kick the bucket in the wake of stepping on one of them. The great plantation is the fundamental wellspring of pay for the residents, yet all the same after the second man abandoned a perilous minefield, the ones who remained have renamed it as Mineyard. From that point forward, the gathering of ladies attracts straws to see who will be the following individual to pick the grapes. Tragically, more often than not, they are fruitless as the mines detonate and explode them to bits. One morning, the sisters are drawn closer by nothing, a little kid, who needs to enlist their crying administrations ahead of time since she has drawn the short straw and is going to the mineyard next. Be that as it may, as she needs to pay ahead of time, she asks the sisters to give her an exhibition of their crying execution. The two right away concur and begin their example execution. In any case, Ognjenka has inconvenienced crying on the grounds that her client is as yet alive. She attempts to consider miserable things to make herself cry, yet nothing appears to work. In one of her recollections, she reviews the day her companion Sanya got hitched yet was right away isolated from her significant other and left quiet by the war. To help, her sister Boginja reminds her that she's turning 22 soon yet has however to find love, and with the absence of men in the town, it's far-fetched she at any point will. Fortunately, this strange idea brings the two sisters to tears. In the meantime, nothing uncovers that she kissed a man once, an elderly person named Grandad Bissa, the last male in the town. While the sisters are appalled by this, nothing makes sense of that she'd prefer experience her first time with an elderly person than never. Nonetheless, Grandad Bissa is developing progressively sick, and the renowned town which additionally can't do much to help. At night, Nothing and the sisters adventure to the neighborhood bar where the ladies of the town assemble to enjoy drinks and endeavor to neglect the distresses. In the bar, a renowned band named Ratia's Band plays melancholic memorial service tunes, which do practically nothing to lift anybody's spirits. Nonetheless, Nothing has decided to take advantage of her excess time and entreats the barkeep to serve the powerful bug liquor rather than the standard modest beverages. Subsequently, each lady begins having striking fantasies of the perished men who have left a void over the course of their lives. The next day, prior to going into the minefield, Nothing lets the sisters know that she has sorted out for them to have some fun with Grandad Bissa. Minutes afterward, she enters the minefield, steps on one, and passes on in the impact. Then, the inquisitive sisters visit Bissa's cottage, however neither of them will go first. In an endeavor to start the cycle, Boginja pushes Ognjenka onto the bed with the elderly person. Tragically, at the point when Bissa shows up near her face, it causes her to go ballistic and shout, unexpectedly giving him a deadly respiratory failure. His heart doesn't beat once more and he bites the dust on the spot. Because of their activities, the sisters are sentenced to be scorched at the stake. They are integrated and set close to a fire. Boginja, frantic to keep away from demise, proposes a condition and commitments to bring back a preferable man over Bissa inside 3 days. The town witch concurs, yet she makes sure to revile the sisters, saying that assuming they neglect to do as such, their extraordinary grandma's spirit will decay in a spot more terrible than damnation. In the following scene, the sisters leave on a provoking mission to view as a man, yet, their pursuit ends up being a lot harder than they anticipated. On their way, the main man they experience has a place with a female just town, where the ladies savagely monitor him and alarm the sisters away. The subsequent man ends up to be a lady camouflaged as a man, endeavoring to enlist in the military to assist with repopulation. At last, they show up at the city and are shocked to see the men from their mind flights there. Ognjenka finds herself stricken with trying carnival entertainer known as the Man of Steel, who wows crowds with his gun dispatches. When their eyes meet, they feel a flash of fascination, and Dragolub offers to take Ognjenka on a flying experience, a trick he ordinarily saves for paying clients. Meanwhile, Boginja is drawn beguiling vocalist who enthralls the hearts of every one of the young ladies in the city with his smooth voice. As Ognjenka and Dragolub take off through the air, their bond develops further, yet entirely their flight closes in a dive into a close-by lake. Dragolub battles to remain above water, however Ognjenka salvages him what's more, resuscitates him with mouth-to-mouth revival. Dazzled by her boldness and speedy reasoning, Dragolub offers her a situation as his collaborator. In the meantime, in the wake of being encircled by a gathering of ladies, Arsa makes a striking statement. He reports that whoever gets the red rose tossed into the pool will be his sovereign. Thus, the ladies madly battle to snatch the bloom, with Boginja figuring out how to arise successful. As everybody is occupied by the upheaval, Dragolub makes his break in a vehicle along with Ognjenka. He likewise summons Arsa to join him, suggesting that they know each other. Before long, Boginja likewise gets into the vehicle, and they set off on their new excursion. Dragolub have areas of strength for association, while Arsa isn't keen on Boginja's propels. The gathering makes a pit stop to change out of their wet garments. What's more, Arsa at last becomes drawn into Boginja at the point when he sees her in a semi-naked state. The following second, they start making out, thus the two or three gets into the vehicle. What's more, drives away. On their way, they run into some difficulty as Ognjenka's hair gets trapped in the entryway. In spite of her endeavors to persuade Dragolub to not return to Pokapi, he is anxious to see a town loaded with ladies and experience the magnificence. In the meantime, Boginja figures out how to persuade Arsa to discard Dragolub and break to Belgrade, where they can find distinction together. Nonetheless, during their escape, en route to Pokapi, Ognjenka figures out how they inadvertently take a funeral car with a departed body inside, convince Dragolub to share some tales about Belgrade, including the impending royal residence Albania, a transcending structure that fantasies are made of, the pinnacle sometime in the future. Despite the fact that Ognjenka considers going to Belgrade once more, she feels regretful for not keeping her vow to her kin. So they stick to their plan and go to Pokapi, where the ladies draw straws to choose their errands for the day. Furthermore, Sanya is the appalling one. Notwithstanding, their work is upset by the startling appearance of Ognjenka and Dragolub. From the get-go, the ladies botch Dragolub for a deception, yet, they before long understand that he's genuine. Furthermore, they swarm around him with energy, with the exception of a drained Sanya. Ognjenka can't resist the urge to feel desirous. Afterward, they use Dragolub's bizarre abilities to securely gather grapes. He pedals a bike on ropes across the mineyard, while Ognjenka is fastened to him, easily assembling the organic product without contacting the ground. As night plummets, everybody revels in making wine the customary way, by trampling the grapes in an enormous can. In the meantime, the witch keeps her guarantee also, permits the spirit of the sister's extraordinary grandma to find happiness in the hereafter. Be that as it may, Ognjenka starts to feel forlorn and disappointed in light of the fact that everybody else appears to have what they need with the exception of her. In any case, her contemplations are intruded on by the appearance of Boginja, who has returned to help. In the following scene, as the sisters make a beeline for the bar, they find Dragolub having a great time with other ladies. This incenses Ognjenka. What's more, in a fit of envy, she hits him in the crotch prior to announcing to everybody that he has a place with her and that there. When nothing works, Ognjenka takes a trying step by strikingly kissing Dragolub. She then, at that point, admits her affection for him, and desires him to leave with her. Be that as it may, Sanya, who has been longing for a kiss from Dragolub since her big day was destroyed, becomes jealous and furthermore establishes a kiss on him, ignoring after some time. Arsa likewise shows up there and his clarification that he can kiss Ognjenka. The ladies promptly encompass him. This time, it's Boginja's chance to feel jealous. Arsa rapidly drinks some insect cognac and demands the band to play music so he can hit the dance floor with Boginja on top of the table. Yet, things turn rough, which leaves their feet draining when Ratia likewise wants to move with Arsa, prompting a fight between her. What's more, Boginja, from the wrecked glasses. A harsh contention between the men results, and the ladies recommend that the most ideal way to figure out who is the better man is through their room abilities. Dragolub concurs, be that as it may. Ognjenka throws a glass at his head, uncovering her possessiveness and jealousy. The next day, Dragolub wakes up to find Sanya drifting over him, attempting to draw nearer. She goes up against him about his macho conduct and advises him that it's alright to give up of his pride. Thus, after a touch of thought, she kisses him one last time. What's more, sends him off to accompany his genuine affection. Then, as the sisters leave for Belgrade in their vehicle, Dragolub attempts to follow them. Notwithstanding, they irately smash him with their vehicle for all the issues he has caused as of late. Asa, then again, attempts to get away from the ladies holding on to spend time with him and inadvertently closes up in the hazardous mineyard. Before she sets the sisters show up, and Boginja steps up to out, she offers her sister a profound goodbye, encouraging her to proceed with her way to Belgrade and carry on with a full life. With a red rose, a similar one Asa tossed on the day they initially met, stuck to her chest, Boginja then, at that point, moves towards her dearest. Furthermore, they share an energetic kiss. The locals watch in wonder as the two darlings dance in a delightful and moving arranged show, uninformed about the mines exploding surrounding them. They move fitting together beautifully until the last dangerous mine impact takes them both. Crushed, Ognjenka gets into her vehicle and drives out of the town. She recollects that her sister had washed in the reviled lake, and accepts that it was the reason for her less than ideal death. In any case, the sun is sparkling splendidly, representing a confident future, and she starts to envision the existence that Dragolub had depicted to her. The film closes on a confident note, with Ognjenka moving to an exuberant mood. As whirls and twists, she knows that she is prepared to begin another part in her life, leaving the previous behind, and embracing the potential outcomes representing things to come.